And when President Trump delivers his joint address to Congress tonight, he's expected to face dozens of fired federal workers. Democratic lawmakers are making an effort to bring the fired workers to the speech tonight. Meanwhile, a group of veterans fired in the federal cuts are meeting with lawmakers in Washington ahead of the speech. One of them, Air Force veteran Aileen Reneau, is here to tell us more about that. Aileen, thank you for joining us. You say that you worked for FEMA after years of teaching in public schools. What were you doing for FEMA before being let go?
Yes, ma'am. I was working at the Center for Domestic Preparedness in Anniston, Alabama. I was an instructional specialist, so I worked on developing and revitalizing and updating the curriculum for our state, local, tribal, and territorial responders that are sent to the Center for Domestic Preparedness for the training that they need to respond to disasters and incidents.
So how did you find out you were being laid off, and what was your reaction?
So I have to give credit to my wonderful local leadership. They did give me a heads up. They gave me a call President's Day. I was actually at the bookstore with my children enjoying President's Day. And they let me know, like, hey, you need to be aware that, we're so sorry, but expect a termination letter this evening in your email. So we just had that quick 15-minute conversation. And then later that evening, I believe it was about 6 p.m., I received the termination letter. And immediately at that point, my credentials were revoked. My laptop was locked up, and I was no longer permitted to regain entry to campus and retrieve my personal effects.
So what reason did they give you?
The termination letter stated that it was due to performance. It said, due to your performance, you are no longer, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember the exact verbiage. You are, it's been determined that you are not performing well, and it's not in the best interest of the public to continue to retain you. And that's the same letter that many of my coworkers received. The fact of the matter is we were probationary, and that's the only legal reason we could be fired is for misconduct or issues with our performance. But the three of us in my department that were fired, we had excellent reviews. So I know that that's an outright lie, quite frankly.
You say you have serious questions about the fairness and transparency of this decision. Why?
Well, I didn't have any performance issues. I had just received my annual review, and I was exceeds expectations. In October, I deployed to respond to Hurricane Helene in eastern Tennessee, and my field evaluation was also exceeds expectations. And on top of that, former Deputy Administrator Eric Hooks, a Biden appointee, came down from DC, and he recognized myself and another while deployed. So I know that documentation wise, everything is in my favor. There was no performance issues, but we all know that this administration is trying to find the quickest, easiest way to terminate employees across the board. And it's nice to stand up there and say it's due to performance issues and that they're getting rid of fraud, waste, and abuse. But the reality is that these have been very capricious and thoughtless terminations across the board.
All right, Aileen Reneau, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.